Get Warrior Tough. Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
All right, we're back at it. Back in the saddle. Andrew and Dutch. Dutch and Andrew. If you want to join the conversation and yell at me and Dutch, 855-856-1380. Or just be cool. No one will know that you were one of the parents I was talking about at the graduation party if you don't call in.
You know, and I tell you what, don't be ashamed if you are. Hey, man, because it begins now. The moment you say, I don't know, should be that should be the moment you're challenged. So, it's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of the world. That's the way you should look at it. The moment someone asks you a question you don't know the answer to, that's your call to arms. So don't shy away. Don't get afraid. Don't run. That's your call to arms. And call to arms can be as much as you trying to figure it out, or guess what? Calling someone to get some help to figure it out. Calling us. Calling Andrew and I will step up and help you get where you need to be. So you're not in this alone. That's the thing, and I think that's the thing that scares a lot of young people, and it scares a lot of their parents. The I don't know is the fear and embarrassment that they really don't know. But that's what we're here for. So you don't have to don't know.
Right.
But shame on you if after you admit to yourself you don't know, it's not worth enough or it's not worthy enough for you to find out.
Right. Now, Dutch, before the show, you and I were talking, and you made a fantastic point that it's one of the things that we teach, which is consciousness is contagious, right? So your advice would be, even if it's somebody they don't know and we ask them, what does that look like? And they can't even imagine anything beyond 5 years, what happiness looks like. They have no perspective at all. Your advice is to just get out of there, go to college, join the military, change the venue and get around other people. See, that's what I did. Is I joined the Marine Corps because I needed that mental toughness and the leadership, and I needed that way. I needed a different way of thinking and looking at things. And my background, that I was the fat kid in high school and bullied, and I was scared and always anxious and walking on eggshells. I needed to get control of that fear and get control of my body and my mindset. But your advice would be, I'm not going to, you tell me. So you meet a kid, they can't tell you what they want, and so you would say,
and I'll tell you this, the reason that I say that is because apparently where you were didn't help you.
Right.
And if you stay there, it's only going to stay the same or get worse. And most likely it's going to get worse because you were under the protection of a lot of things while you were younger. So now you're out in the world and you weren't taught, you weren't given a skill set, you weren't given the right mindset. You're going to be in more trouble than you ever been in as you go out on your own. So the first thing you need to do is remove yourself and hey, if I'm offending your mom and your dad and your community and all that stuff, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Get away from them and seek truth, seek answers, seek facts, seek information, different points of view. Get away from wherever you were, because if you're saying I don't know, and I'm sorry, it might be mom and dad, if you're saying I don't know at this point, then you are not in the right place. You need to get it. And again, if that means calling Andrew and I, if that means getting you a whole group, different set of influences, which we talk about shaping your environment, we talk about all those things, you can do those things. But if you find yourself saying, I don't know, I'm sorry, not sorry, I should say, you need to get away from wherever you were. And that might be your first step, and find yourself, like you said, in your case, it was the military. In my case, it was college. I got into college. I started meeting people. I started talking to people. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I went into college with the mindset of majoring in engineering. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew if I started on that path of engineering, I would be shaped to be able to do most things, because the curriculum in engineering was so wide and advanced that I could then morph into anything that I discovered. And that's what I ended up doing. So I wasn't setting myself out. I went and say, oh, I'm just going to major in art. Well, the moment I found out what I wanted to do, I would have been starting all over. So I picked something that would allow me to transition into anything in the world. And so it was a little tough, since engineering isn't a cakewalk. But I said, okay, I'm going to do something that's going to prepare me for anything. And that's why I began that path. And even though I decided to finish that, I knew I was going to ultimately do something else eventually. So I always worked towards that.
Right, so you used it as your launching pad, and you set yourself up for future. And that's what I would encourage kids to do. Is so get around higher level thinkers. Get around, because consciousness is contagious. If you're around, and I'm just going to lay it out here, man. You guys listen, it's Mental Toughness. That ain't Club Med. Right, if you're around average-minded people, you're going to get average-minded results because you're going to feed on average-minded programming. And I'm going to just be straight up with you. Your teachers at school, they're average-minded. They are just in the middle. No one grew up saying, I just want to be a high school teacher and that's all I ever want to be. If they did, there's a few of them. They're the really great ones. The rest of them are complaining about their job and telling you it's okay if you don't know what to do, if you don't know, because they didn't either. And you could grow up and be a teacher and complain about, but you'll get summers off. That's why most of them will get the job. I know because I'm related to a bunch of them. It's like, I got half my family are teachers because they get summers off.
I tell you another thing that people fall into the trap. That average-minded stuff, man, it sounds really good. Man, it sounds, the average-minded stuff has the best packaging, right? It's
comfortable. It's
oh my
squishy.
Goodness.
It's like great, man. Yeah, it's safe. It's safe.
It's absolutely. Don't ever fall into that trap, that bright, shiny, red, whatever. Don't fall for that. Don't be afraid to stick your hand in and dig through and find out what's going on and do some searching and digging and some researching and all, because that's when you have to work for something. That's where you're going to find the truest things. When you had to put some work into it, because that stuff isn't like, all the great things aren't just lying around on the street. You got to explore. You got to search. You got to dig. You got to plan. You got to want. It's a whole bunch of things that go into it, man. But that average stuff is just lying around, man. There's a McDonald's in every corner.
Low-hanging fruit, they call it. Like, hey, get the low-hanging fruit. There's another average-minded saying. It's the low-hanging fruit. Like, that's good.
And I tell you what, and I'm not trying to offend anyone that's working at a McDonald's, but I tell you what, if you're working at McDonald's, you need to be planning on owning that McDonald's one day.
There you go.
I've seen people do that. That's not a joke.
No, and you can make a lot of money owning franchises.
I've seen people work, starting from high school, work at a fast food place with the mindset of purchasing a fast food place, being a franchisee one day, and I've seen it work. So it's not about It's not about what you're doing. It's about what you're planning to do. It's about how it fits in your big picture. The problem is a lot of people don't have a big picture. But once you have a big picture, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as it's a part of the picture that leads to the big picture. You understand?
I'm totally with you on this, man. And this is the same. Listen, the same thing. When I had that security business, right? We had a bunch of security guards. We hired them, and they're all like, they're getting $10 an hour, right? What I want is not you to, this is for me. My dream is that you don't stay a $10 an hour employee, that you learn from me, and that you open your own business, because there's plenty of security stuff out there, and you leverage that. Right, that you would, and I'm always looking for that high performer. Same thing if it's landscaping or if it's the restaurant business. You don't have to have like a higher education degree to have success and fulfillment and happiness and do what you love. You don't have to go to college.
And I tell you what, that success comes in the weirdest places, because there are so many people that go into that fast food place and I'm gonna hang there for a second. They go into that fast food place. They just go through the motions. They don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. This is just a job. They're living check to check, week to week. They have no idea what they're doing. Then you have that kid that's at that fast food place with a vision, with a dream. They're busting their tail. Who notices it? Manager. Next thing you know, that kid's assistant manager. Then that kid becomes a manager. The GM notices that guy, puts him on a higher track to become a general manager. And the meantime, this kid has seen every aspect of how this place runs. So they're learning. The wheels are turning. Even when you get to general manager, you don't need to be stopping there. You need to be thinking about owner.
Yep.
Then you need to be thinking about owner that's not even doing anything with it.
Multiples.
You just own it, and then you're finding out how to own other stuff.
Right. Multiple.
How to acquire other things.
Leverage it. Leverage that success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it never stops. But when people because there are managers at McDonald's that are at dead end spots because they aren't thinking about being general managers. When you stop, when your brain stops, and when your brain thinks that you're done, that you reach as high, you're done. It's over. You might as well just go away. You might as well just lay down in the grave and just start putting dirt on top of yourself.
And that you just said something that made me think of this. And I know a lot of people, and I know I'm using like Trump language a lot, but a lot of people that throughout the course of my 30 years of working, that They were conscientious. They're hard workers, but they don't want to take the supervisor job, right? No, I'm not. I don't want that responsibility. That ain't enough money. And then they will complain the whole time about their supervisor and the bosses. Yet, and they made it early on known, hey, I don't want that job, or they turned it down when it was offered to them, and then they're going to complain and moan the whole time. And I'm doing more than anybody else is doing, and I'm not getting paid for it. Hey, listen, it was offered to you. You turned it down. Stop complaining.
You know what they never think about? That supervisor position. If you do that supervisor position, the better you do it, the shorter amount of time you'll be there, and you'll be at the next position.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. If you go there and you accept mediocrity, you accept all the reasons that job stinks, then you're probably going to be there. That's where you're going to remain. But the really ultra aggressive, ultra successful people, they aren't staying at that crappy position for long because they're going to blow it up. They're going to let the people above them see what they did to that position, and they're going to ask them to come upstairs and join their team.
Yeah, because here's the difference, right? The average-minded are focused on problems, and the elite warrior is focused on solutions. Not how junky the job is and all the problems that come with all the headaches that come with management. Hey, that is awesome. Look at all the solutions I can bring when I get in the spot where I'm a manager.
And guess what, Andrew? If I'm the owner and I see you down there at this lowly supervisor position solving all these big problems, you know what I'm going to do? Guess what? I got a bunch of big problems, even over your head.
I'm going to give you more.
I'm going to give you more. Hey, man, take this other raise, and I want you to be the manager over 10 of them because you did such a good job managing that store. I want you to manage 10 of them. I got bigger problems that I need for you to solve. And guess what? When you solve those, man, you know what? I like to be on the beach more. I need a partner.
In fact,
why
and
don't
I'll
you come
take
up
it
with me.
Yeah, and I'll even put it back on. I'll even put it like if you're the worker, Yeah, well, I'm not getting paid for that. Well, I solve problems and they didn't give me a raise. Go solve more. Solve ridiculous amounts of problems. Solve multi-million-dollar worth of problems. And then they realize listen, we got to give this person a raise because it would cost us money if we lost them.
Hey, I'm challenging a guy. If you're solving all those problems, I want to see how smart you are. Hey, man, come up here with me. I got some more. I got bigger problems for you. Come on up here. Come up in this corner office over here, and I'm going to lay a new set of problems on your desk, and you're going to get more money, you're going to get more responsibility.
It's okay if you don't know what you want. It's okay. No, it's okay. I didn't know what I wanted to do at your age either, so it's okay. You know what? I complained and moaned when I was your age. It's all right. It's fine.
If you're saying that, and for anyone listening, if you're saying that to anyone and walking away from them, I'd rather you not say anything at all to them. You'd be better off saying nothing. You'd be better off ignoring them and walking away and letting the next person come up and talk to them that may have some information for them.
Yes,
because you're hurting them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mind-boggling to me. And then we wonder why that we're in the situation that we're in, in our society, in our culture, in our country. I mean, really, it's just.
And I'm with you. I tell you, it's people talk about every time I turn around, people say, "Oh, this is why we are today. This is where we are. Oh, these kids did that. That's why." No, this is more a direct reflection of the United States than anything else that people talk about. Yep. Because you're talking about mindsets. That's the beginning of everything.
There it is. Hey, Dutch, we're up on a break. We'll be right back. We'll pick this up after the break. Get Warrior Tough Radio Show. Dutch and Andrew.